The suspended Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya facing questions from MPs in the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee probe into allegations of corruption. Sibiya's been accused of close links with suspected criminal figures, including Mogotsi and Vusimuzi Matlala. He vehemently denies those claims. Newzroom Afrika Zoleka, Qodashe, watching this story from Parliament. Zoleka, good afternoon to you. How would you sum up what we've heard so far today?
Good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon to the viewers. Well, what has happened for the majority of the morning's proceedings is that essentially it follows the same trail that was followed by the evidence leader, the chief evidence leader, Advocate Norman Arends, the senior counsel, yesterday, where it goes back to the genesis, or rather the start and history of Sibiya's career. And so as they do that, as MPs also follow that track, they go back to the city of Johannesburg. Now, you'll remember that Sibiya was employed in the city of Johannesburg under the administration of Action SA leader Herman Mashaba after he was sacked from the Hawks in Gauteng. He was the head of the Hawks in Gauteng. He was sacked from that position and then was tasked with leading an investigating unit, a crime-fighting unit within the city of Johannesburg. So that's where MPs have chosen to start today. And essentially, they're looking at some of the investigations and allegations of corruption against Sibiya during that time. You'll remember that he was accused of unlawfully benefiting to the tune of 3.5 million rand, as well as contributing to unlawful expenditure or maladministration within the city of Johannesburg to the tune of 580 million rand. And so that's what has been discussed mostly. But Sibiya has taken issue with those questions that have been asked by MPs, particularly the MK party's Shongwe, who asked that question, and also in relation to his role at the city of Johannesburg. And he says that all these matters have been investigated and those investigations have been closed, and saying that essentially now MPs want to revive and resuscitate those matters through the back door. You'll remember, Stephen, that there was also an investigation into Sibiya by the public protector and how his employment came to be in the city of Johannesburg. Of course, that investigation, he was cleared also in that investigation, but the public protector then came back saying that the city of Johannesburg had not disclosed all the necessary information for then public protector Advocate Vusimuzi to fulfill her mandate in investigating the matter fully. And so that is some of the questions that have come up again before the ad hoc committee today. But I want to take us back to a question that was asked by the ANC MP's Sokanyile, who asked why Sibiya would be accused of corruption within the city of Johannesburg, and also as he has been reinstated within the SAPS, then be accused of corruption there as well. So it seems to us, what she suggests is that there is this kind of cloud that keeps hanging over Sibiya in relation to allegations of corruption. She asks about his testimony. You'll remember yesterday in his evidence in chief, he spoke about some of the relationships that he has or doesn't have with Mogotsi, controversial Northwest businessman, as well as Matlala, Vusimuzi Matlala, who's accused of attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder in the Alexandra Magistrates Court. And so those are the relationships that he detailed yesterday. And the members of parliament today are trying to assess or gain clarity on the nature of these relationships and to what extent he enjoys relationships with those controversial figures. So yesterday we heard testimony from Sibiya in relation to his relationship with Matlala, saying that there was an issue with a procurement matter in relation to SAPS contracts, in which Matlala directly approached Sibiya. Let's listen to that interaction between Sokanyile as well as Sibiya.
You didn't refer, Mr. Matlala, to a person responsible or a senior person in the supply chain department or the national commissioner. Why didn't you do so?
Honorable Chair and members, when you are or you have been awarded a tender by the South African Police Service, which have gone past supply chain. Now, the next level to complain if there is an issue was the logical thing to go to the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service. This is what he did. He went to the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, which in that case, I was acting in that capacity.
Now, Stephen, in his evidence in chief yesterday, Shadrack Sibiya also spoke about the nature of his relationship or lack thereof with Brown Mogotsi. And he said that the first time that he got to interact with Brown Mogotsi was at the ANC's January 8 statement celebrations. And he said Brown Mogotsi called him, and that was their first in-person interaction, where Brown Mogotsi called him and then asked if he would be at the ANC's celebration, to which he said that they would be conducting operations there and that he would indeed be there. So there was an in-person interaction there. But prior to that, there was a time when Brown Mogotsi called the Deputy National Police Commissioner and said that there was an investigation into him by the Crime Intelligence Unit. And so saying that there is that kind of investigation into him and that he should be careful. Sibiya has told the committee today that he then spoke to National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola about this, who said that if it is possible, Sibiya must record those conversations that he has with Brown Mogotsi, and saying that, in fact, it was not necessary to kind of cut that relationship or terminate that relationship. And so the committee members have been critical about that relationship, also asking about why a civilian would be comfortable giving such information and how a civilian would know that type of information. In fact, the ANC MP Qodashe asking questions around that, and if this isn't a concern, particularly for the Deputy National Police Commissioner to be receiving such information of such a nature from an ordinary civilian and not about the community, things that would be happening in the Northwest community. Let's take a listen to what they said.
What did you do with that information?
It's information that says watch over your back. And then what I did is, sometimes I approach the National Commissioner. Sometimes I did speak to General Kumar and say, I understand there is one of the senior managers who's going around here and saying, I'm going to arrest your boss, or we intend to arrest so and so and so and so. And at some point, it's even journalists where they want a journalist to run a story that says General Sibiya's arrest is imminent, and they want the journalist to run that story. And then I have a lot of AI-generated TikTok messages about me. So you find that when you Google me or when you go into TikTok, you find that there is thousands of negative messages, or they will take my message and turn it replicates into many messages.
The question general was that, what did you do about that information?
What did I do about the information? I use it to my advantage to make sure that I survive.
All right, that interaction in Parliament today is Zoleka Qodashe, our reporter there. Thank you very much indeed. When that resumes, we'll be back live there. Also watching the Matlala Commission there on lunch break too.